I'm so excited. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, peanut butter. So when we go through the grocery store, we see, guys, the peanut butter aisle nowadays is insane. I mean, you see the regular stuff like the Jif, the Skippy, the stuff that you enjoyed as a kid. Then you see all the things that are labeled natural. And then we see all the kind of funky looking jars that are separated. There's oil on top. There's the creamy stuff that we're used to on the bottom. What the heck is the difference? And which one of these is the best choice? We're gonna answer just that. So in this video, I'm gonna really explain the difference between those three types of peanut butters that we typically see: the regular version, the natural labeled versions, and then the 100% peanut versions, or the ones that we kind of see, like I said, they kind of look wonky because they're separated. So at the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding, first of all, is peanut butter healthy? And the difference between these three, and then I'm gonna tell you which one I recommend and which one or ones I always have in my pantry. So as a registered dietitian, I'm investigating the nutritional side for you, but I'm also a really big peanut butter lover. You guys know I would not steer you wrong in this. If you know me at all, peanut butter is, I feel like I'm half made up of peanut butter by now. That's a total exaggeration, but you get the point. I love me my peanut butter, and I take it very seriously. If you like peanut butter as much as I do, and you feel me on there, be sure to give this video a like and leave a comment, because peanut butter lovers should unite. If you watch my Instagram stories, you know that me and Theo, my dog, always have our peanut butter time. That's like our mommy-son bonding, and he's actually at the door right now. I can hear him. Oh, I see his little ear popping up from under. I gotta let him in. Hang on. Hi, bud. You can come up here. There. I also just lint rolled myself so I wouldn't have a lot of hair on me, but that's okay. That's okay. I love you. I do love you so much. We're gonna talk about our favorite topic, peanut butter. Okay, so let's get into, first of all, is peanut butter even healthy? What is the truth about peanut butter? So you guys, if you know me at all, you know I don't like to label food as healthy or as unhealthy. And really all foods fit into a healthy lifestyle. And you guys know that when we label foods as good or bad or healthy or unhealthy, that's likely gonna cause a harmful relationship with food, which can then lead to things like the restrict binge cycle and weight cycling, yo-yo dieting. Not good stuff. So peanut butter, one of the big draws to it is that it provides us with fat, and that fat, no fat is not bad. It helps you to be satisfied, and also there are nutrients that are fat soluble, so we actually need fat in our diets to be able to absorb some of those nutrients. We need fat. Most of the fats in peanuts themselves are high in those monounsaturated fats, polyunsaturated fats, also called MUFAs and PUFAs. I know it's super funny sounding, but it's a mouthful to say. And those types of fats are fats that have been shown to have actually protective health benefits. I know we used to cringe at the thought of having fat in our diets. In the 90s, going low fat was like the thing. They thought that was what was going to be healthy, and that's what everyone wanted to do when they were trying to control their weight. But since we've learned and nutrition has evolved, because we're really always continuing to learn more about this, guys, it's a fascinating subject. We now know that fats are not to be demonized. They are a part of, like I said, we need fats to absorb different nutrients and vitamins and minerals in our actual diet. So the idea of going low-fat diets and how that was so popular makes me so mad for two reasons. A, it's not true, and B, it's fat phobic. We shouldn't fear fat in foods or having fat on our bodies. They're both normal and healthy. Peanut butter also has some protein in there, so that piece also helps to keep you nice and satisfied and keeps you full longer. And also it helps our muscles. Our muscles are built up of those building blocks of protein, and our muscles really like to have that protein source to keep them nice and strong. Now, peanut butter is nutrient dense, which means it has a lot of nutrients in it packed into kind of a smaller volume. So it does have, like I said, it has a lot of those nutrients, including calories, in that smaller amount. And to be honest with you, this steers a lot of people, my past self included, away from consuming peanut butter because we think it's too much or it's too high in calories or that we're going to overdo it. So we figure, okay, just better not even attempt it because we're so fearful of that. But I really want to encourage you guys not to think that way because it's just totally not true. Like I said, it helps to... Oh, Theo, hey, no. Oh, stop howling. Like I said, we need fats in our diet. It's got protein that's gonna help keep you nice and full. The fats and the protein are gonna help to keep you satisfied, and we need that fat to literally live and function. Okay, so before we get to the first type of peanut butter, I wanna share a fun fact. In order to be called and classified peanut butter, it has to be 90% peanuts. There are a lot of standards that we don't think about that food manufacturers have to follow in order to call their certain foods actually peanut butter. So it's not like you could do 50% peanuts and call it peanut butter. You'd probably have to call it like a peanut spread. I don't know what the restrictions are on that term, but to be called peanut butter, it has to be at least 90% peanuts. Okay, so the first type of peanut butter let's go through is just the regular old stuff. I mean, this is Aldi, just store brand, but think Jif, Skippy, just the typical, either the crunchy or the creamy. Now, to be honest, lately this stuff has gotten a really bad rap, and you might be wondering why. The reason that it's gotten a bad rap is because it uses hydrogenated oils. Now, let's do some clarification on this. Hydrogenated oils help to keep peanut butter shelf stable and also to preserve their freshness. So that's how it can not separate like the ones that are just 100% peanuts do. They help to keep it fresh, and that's why you can keep it in your pantry and not have it spoil. Now, hydrogenation is a chemical process that takes a liquid to a solid. There are two types of hydrogenated oils that we should touch on: the partially hydrogenated oils and the fully hydrogenated oils. Now, we used to use the partially hydrogenated oils in our foods because it actually has a better melting point, but we found that the partially hydrogenated oils create trans fats, and those not so fabulous. They're actually no longer recognized as safe by the FDA. This is because it can negatively impact our cholesterol levels and lead to increased likelihood of heart disease. Like I said, not so fabulous. So, like I said, the FDA banned trans fats, so we no longer really use those partially hydrogenated oils. Everyone is going to the fully hydrogenated oils to limit those trans fats. Now, trans fats do occur naturally in some foods, those animal products, things like butter, milk, cheese, meats. They occur naturally in small amounts, but nothing like what was in those partially hydrogenated oils. Now, we started to use the fully hydrogenated oils because they do not contribute that amount of trans fats, but it doesn't really have the best melting point to give us the consistency of the peanut butter that we're used to and that we like. So they combine the fully hydrogenated oils with some of the non-hydrogenated oils to give us this creamy, dreamy goodness that we are used to and that we want. So when you see things marked as trans fat free, you can see right here it says 0 grams trans fat per serving. That is why, because they used to use trans fats in there. Now, the issue, like I said, they still do kind of have a bad rap, and that's because of the fully hydrogenated oils and the saturated fats. Saturated fats can also still impact our cholesterol levels and our risk for heart disease. To kind of think about this, think about the blood flowing through your body, and some of those fats can kind of muck up how our blood is able to go through our body. So it kind of just makes it a little more difficult for our blood to flow. Kind of gets like gunky in there, so it's not as smooth stream. The recommendation is to keep saturated fat to roughly 13 grams per day. Now, kind of take that number with a grain of salt because everyone's needs are totally different. That's just based on a percentage of a 2,000 calorie diet. And we know that everyone, like I said, is totally different and they eat different amounts of foods. I don't recommend counting anything by any means. If you listen to your body and you start to understand what foods makes it feel good, you do not have to worry about having the peanut butter or the cookies or the Oreos or the ice cream and really micromanaging that saturated fat. Isn't that fabulous? So freeing. It's more about the big picture. I'm not a fan of food fear, you guys. Okay, so that's the deal with the regular stuff. So now we get into the stuff that's called natural. So what the heck is the difference? You might think, wow, this natural must be a lot healthier, right? Quote unquote healthier, all foods fit, you guys know what I mean. So for this stuff, the main difference is that they use, instead of those man-made, those chemically processed, fully hydrogenated oils, they use a natural tropical stable oil called palm oil. Now, like I said, this is naturally occurring, so that's where that natural comes from. So this does still contribute saturated fat to our diet, but it's more of that natural source versus that chemical process. That's the main difference here. There are also some questions lately on the sustainability of palm oil and how that might be hurting from a sustainability standpoint. So that's definitely something to take into consideration when you're strolling down the peanut butter aisle and making your choice, if that's something that's really important to you. There also could be a difference in the amount of sugar that's in there. In these two, there's not. The main difference here is the oil. And this one does state that it has cane sugar versus just sugar on this one. But the bottom line, I think, to be honest, this one is mostly just a marketing ploy to make you pick the natural one because we think that's better, we think that's superior, when from a nutritional standpoint, it's not gonna make a giant difference. Okay, so then we get to this stuff that says 100% peanuts. What's the deal? So obviously, it's legit just made with peanuts. There are no added oils, no added sugars, no added salts. It's literally just peanuts, like I said. So for that, to be honest with you, there is a taste difference between them. This one is gonna be, I don't wanna say more bland, but more natural tasting, kind of what you think of, less sweet and less salty. So just that peanut flavor, like you were to grab a handful of peanuts, that's more the taste you're getting. So which one of these three, if I can grab them all, this is gonna be skill, guys. These three peanut butters is the best to pick. To be honest with you guys, I usually have both of these in my pantry. The regular stuff and the 100% peanut stuff. This one I like mostly because it has it's really drizzly. So, I mean, think about those like Instagram worthy peanut butter drizzles that you see. This stuff really gives you that. And I mean, I also use some Gentle Nutrition here too, which I have a blog post to that, I'll link below, to say, you know what, this stuff satisfies me. I think it tastes good. I don't feel deprived or like I'm missing out. So yeah, I'll choose the quote unquote healthier option if that satisfies me. That's okay to do. But there are other times when I want the really sweet stuff and I allow myself to have it. There, like I said, is a taste difference and there's a satisfaction difference. If you're wanting something more sweet, something like you had when you were in childhood, the 100% peanut stuff might not satisfy you. And you guys know I really hit home about satisfaction. To be honest with you, sometimes I will have some of this just after dinner, and I usually have a sweet tooth after dinner. And to me, it's sweet enough to really satisfy that. And now, no, I'm not telling you to fill your body with just saturated fats, but I am telling you to give yourself permission to eat this stuff. I don't believe in food fear, and it's okay to say, I'm gonna choose this because it has some of those more protective fats in it. But here's the key, guys. You should not feel stress or anxiety if this stuff is the only thing available. If you feel stress or anxiety, if you were to have to eat the stuff with the hydrogenated oils and the sugars, that likely signals a food rule and not a food preference. Now, one thing to note is that when I had really strict food rules, I didn't allow myself peanut butter at all because I fell into that camp that we talked about, that it was too high in calories, too high in fat. There was no way I could eat that and not be petrified that I was going to become unhealthy or gain a ton of weight, because that's what I was really, really consumed with at the time. So I just never allowed myself it. I kid you not, guys, when I was getting rid of my food rules, I made a dent in a Costco size giant tub of just Jif extra crunchy peanut butter, the regular stuff with the sugar, the hydrogenated oil, and that was because I was coming out of a place of restriction. So to me, I think that the best option is to make sure that you have a healthy relationship with all foods. You're not depriving yourself. You're not getting anxiety over certain foods, because it's going to do more damage in my eyes psychologically and physically when we end up having to binge on those things because we are so deprived of them. I'm not telling you to sit there and eat this in huge, huge amounts. I'm telling you to allow yourself it so that you don't end up binging on it. You feel me? We talk about peanut butter and how to really overcome our fear of peanut butter in my membership to society, and it's totally normal to eat it in, like I said, large amounts if you have been restricting and you are working to really regain that healthy relationship with food. It does die down. You're not going to be making a big dent in the Costco size tub of peanut butter forever, but that is an important step to allow yourself to eat it in order to overcome that. And now, like I said, I have this stuff in my pantry at all times, and I don't feel that pull to eat it. I'm able to eat it in amounts that make me feel good, frequencies that make me feel good. There's no counting saturated fat. There's no measuring it out. There's none of that. It's just allowing myself to enjoy it. Both of these options. I keep both of these in my pantry. Sometimes I want the sugary stuff, the thicker stuff, and sometimes honestly, more often than not, that's gentle nutrition for you when you start to understand what makes your body feel good, I probably are gonna choose this stuff and drizzle it right on over my meals, my snacks, but I feel 100% comfortable with both of these. That's the key. All right, guys, I hope this video was super helpful in helping you understand, is peanut butter healthy? What is the truth about peanut butter? And helping you understand kind of which one of these that you should pick. So if you're not sure, do some playing around with it and see, do I like the more natural? Do I like the other stuff better? What amounts make me feel good? Do some experimenting. And with that, I will see you guys next Sunday with another video. And let me know in the comments if you have any ideas or what your favorite peanut butters are. I'm all ears.